Hey everybody, welcome back to my layout. So this will be a layout update for July 2019. It's been an abnormally cold and rainy July up here in Canada. It's about 10 degrees Celsius outside today. It's brutal. So we're downstairs in the basement here, working on the layout. So the first thing I want to show you, you obviously noticed from the intro, but I finished printing this first backdrop. So this is my first attempt at printing the full-size photo backdrop that I've been working on. And for a first attempt, I think this one turned out really well. So the image is about 2.5 feet tall. And I still have some tweaking to do. It's sitting too high up on the layout. I gotta trim pretty much probably 4 or 5 inches right off the bottom of it to lower it down, so it'll match up with the image in the corner there. But for first attempt, I'm pretty happy with this. This is one of the easier ones I did because it was basically just working with one photo. I did have to do a little bit of Photoshop stuff with it, like there was some trackside signs I had to remove. So if you saw the last video I did there, that's pretty much what I was doing. There was a, I think it was a flanger sign kind of really up in these trees here really close. So I cloned that out and I got rid of some tie piles and some other stuff that was laying around. And then the center of the image here, that was actually the tracks going off in the distance, so there was kind of an opening in the trees. So what I did was just clone trees from the other side and went right across with that tree line. And it looks pretty good. I don't think you can really tell, I mean I can't anyway, that there's clone trees in that image. So next steps will be to peel this off the wall, and it's just stuck up there with loops of painter's tape. So I used like 2-inch painter's tape down low, kind of holding the main weight of it, and then up top where the image wants to curl away from the wall, I used 1/4-inch green painter's tape and just make little tiny loops, and that's holding it on there. There's no glue or any kind of adhesive, just painter's tape. So what I'm going to do is peel that off the wall, trim the bottom a little bit so I can lower the whole image down about 5 inches, and then I'll be on to the next one. So this is my printing setup over here. I'm very fortunate to have a friend who just happens to have one of these 42-inch HP Designerjets. He used them for his layout, so you've probably seen the videos CN, Karamat, and Kinghorn sub on my channel. But he used this printer to print all of his photo backdrops. There's actually one on the wall there. So I'm using CorelDRAW X7 and the photo editor on that program to basically make the images using photos that I took. I think I've spent a total of 6 days in Banff now, pretty much shooting backdrops over the last 3 years. And using those images, combining them on CorelDRAW, and then exporting it as a PDF and printing it on this printer. The paper I'm using is 40-pound True Color, 36-inch roll. So I got a 100-foot roll of it. They're about 74 bucks Canadian. So it breaks down to about 70 cents a foot. So you gotta watch. You don't want to be wasting too much paper. You can see underneath there, just printing this one backdrop. It took me quite a few tries to get the sizing and everything right before I allowed it to print the whole thing. I'll throw a few pictures in here of kind of the printing process, but it's pretty straightforward. This printer is awesome. Like it's amazing how nice of a job it does on that 40 weight paper. So that's kind of those photos are the printing process. So then once I had the image printed, that image was 75 inches long. So I laid that down on the floor here, and then I just carefully took one of my hobby knives with a really sharp blade and then just kind of went around the top of it. And that's it. Nothing real fancy, pretty rudimentary when it comes down to it. So hopefully my goal is to have another 30 feet or so ready to print by the end of summer, and then going into winter I'll have a good 40 feet to the layout that will be ready to be scenic. So the only other new thing down here besides that new backdrop, I grabbed one of these Rapido Trains F9B units from PWRS. They still had a few of them left from the first run. And they actually had this 6610 number, which I saw a great video last year. Somebody had put it on, kind of an old VHS video of the Canadian going through Banff. And it was a F40 and then a B unit like this. So I figured bend the rules of my era a little bit, and I'll have kind of a backdated Canadian that will run through Banff and make the station stops at Banff and Lake Louise. Really nice unit. So it's DC only, so I gotta get a decoder for it. I think 21 pin is what they need, so I'll get that and I'll put DCC and sound in this thing and get it running. Really nice engine. This is actually the first piece of blue and yellow via rolling stocker engine that I've ever owned, so it's kind of a neat thing for me. I'll put a link in the video of this unit trailing through Banff. I think it was around 89. You'll see in the video. So that's going to be a really neat consist once I get that B unit rolling. I'm looking forward to seeing that thing making station stops on the layout. So that'll wrap up this layout update, guys. Not a whole lot of new stuff going on, but it is summertime. I'm really excited to keep working on these backdrops. It's kind of given me new inspiration to work on the layout, and I'm excited to hopefully get started on scenery maybe this fall. Some more exciting stuff coming up. Hopefully in the next month, the owner of Steel Horse Models is going to stop by, and he's going to have samples of his new Johnstown American Corporation VersaCoil CP coil car and a couple other ones. It'll be pre-production models, but hopefully that'll happen in the next month or so. He'll stop by with those samples. It's a car I'm really excited about. It's a super unique coil car that's only CP had, and there was only 175 of them made in total. So hopefully that'll be coming this month from me. And maybe some more running videos depending on how crappy the weather is. We'll see. The forecast isn't looking too great here. But that'll wrap up the video, guys. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.